What's up everybody, this is Nick at BarBend.com. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the best whey isolate protein powders on the market. Protein powder, #1 selling sports nutrition supplement you're going to get at just about any supplement store. Whey isolate is an extra nice, like an elite version of whey protein powder. Relative to less expensive forms of whey protein like whey concentrate, whey isolate has fewer carbs and less fat, which means you're getting more protein per calorie, which means it's a more efficient way to get your protein than whey concentrate. In addition to that, because it's so low in carbohydrates, it is frequently lactose-free and often a better bet for someone who has lactose sensitivities. So it's a really solid product, and today we're going to be talking about the best whey isolates in several categories, including the best tasting whey isolate, the best all-natural whey isolate, the best for weight loss, and more. So stick around, I'm going to teach you all about whey isolate and make you the expert. Before I keep going, I need to make it clear, for legal and ethical reasons, I am not a doctor, I'm not a medical professional, and if you are planning to make big changes or little changes to your supplement regimen or your nutrition regimen, your diet, your exercise, all of that, make absolutely certain that you speak to your own medical professional to square everything away and make sure that your selected avenue for self-improvement is consistent with your own individual preferences, lifestyle, medications, and more. Talk to your doctor before making changes to your health regimen. Let's keep going. Before I go on a little bit about the science behind whey protein, I did want to just give you a break and tell you what the top pick on this list is. It's Swolverine's. Swolverine's whey isolate is our favorite pick for whey isolate for a few reasons. It's grass-fed, so the cows spend less time outside, which is always nice, but it's also just got a lot of protein per calorie. So in one scoop of 110 calories, you're just getting 2 grams of carbohydrates and 0.5 grams of fat for 26 grams of protein. First of all, what is whey protein? What's interesting about whey protein is that it used to be considered a waste byproduct. So basically in milk, there are 2 types of protein. There's whey and there's casein. The casein, that gets used to make cheese. The whey, it kind of used to just get thrown out, like, because I can't make cheese from it, why do I want it? Then someone figured out that you can dry it out and make it into a protein that is actually the most bioavailable protein in the entire world. That means it absorbs the most effectively out of any protein. So it's just everybody's go-to protein for protein powder if you are someone who is happy to consume dairy products. That original whey you get when you dry out the whey from the cheese making process, that is whey concentrate. All the different kinds of whey, that's the one with the most carbs and fat. It's also the least expensive. Now, personally, I think if you make a whey concentrate protein powder, there's a better chance it's gonna taste good. We have some really good tasting ones here though, but because of the carbs and fat, some people prefer it. But because it doesn't have as much protein per calorie, a lot of people prefer to get something that's denser in protein. And then you get whey isolate, which has been processed in such a way that it is lower in carbs and fat and lactose. So as I mentioned earlier, that can be better for folks with lactose sensitivities or just people who are on really low calorie diets and want to get as much protein per calorie as possible. The third type of whey protein, the last one I'm going to mention here, is whey hydrolysate, also called hydrolyzed whey protein. That is the most processed form of whey, where the whey isolate has been further processed and broken down with enzymes so that it has shorter peptide chains so that it digests really, really quickly. Like among Olympic athletes, if they're working out twice per day, they might recover their power a little more quickly when they take hydrolyzed whey between workouts than whey isolate. That sort of situation is really the only one where hydrolyzed whey is worth the extra money, because it costs quite a bit more money. And if you're at an extremely elite level, working out all the time, constantly, multiple times per day, then probably a good idea to put the extra expense into that. Otherwise, even if you work out every single day, that difference isn't going to be meaningful, and I would just say any other form of whey is going to work. Whey isolate is our bet for the best balance of protein per calorie and value. So why is Swolverine's whey isolate our favorite whey isolate? Well, partly because the name sounds like Wolverine, but besides that, it is just a very good, solid, dedicated whey isolate product. By that I mean, you aren't paying a lot of extra money for a lot of extra bells and whistles. 110 calories per scoop, you're getting 26 grams of protein for half a gram of fat and 2 grams of carbohydrates and 1 gram of sugar is very remarkable and really high protein density. This is 87% protein by weight. For this chocolate flavor here, it's just like whey protein isolate, cocoa powder, natural and artificial flavor, some xanthan gum, which is a thickener and stabilizer, and sucralose, which is a splendor, this is a sweetener, right? What you aren't getting here is soy, which a lot of people don't like. There's no lecithin, which a lot of people don't like. There's no gluten either. So in addition to being our best whey isolate overall, we also named it the best digesting. And the reason for that are papain and protease. Those are in the 10 milligram blend of digestive enzymes you're gonna get each scoop. But what's cool about this is there's been some research suggesting that when you add in enzymes to a protein powder, the amino acids from the protein get into your bloodstream more quickly. So that's why this is our best digesting digesting one, in addition to the fact that like most whey isolates, this is unbelievably low in sugar and low in lactose. So folks with lactose sensitivities are probably going to have an easier time drinking it. Talk to your doctor first. Lastly, this is the best whey isolate for muscle growth. When talking about that, it is important to note that muscle growth is largely from your overall calories, overall protein, carbohydrates, workout regimen, sleep, and so on. But when it comes to picking a protein powder, it's not a bad idea to pick one that has certain ingredients that make it digest more effectively and more completely, so you're getting more of the protein you're consuming so that you can feed your starving, hungry, amino acid thirsty muscles to help them build and recover better after a workout. So we're a big fan of this enzyme. We're a big fan of the fact that it is free from a lot of extra extraneous ingredients. It's a great product, man. Swolverine's best for muscle growth, best for digesting, and also best overall. Next up, we're going to talk about the best whey isolate on a budget. That is going to be from Kaged, their whey protein isolate. They're very imaginatively named. This is about $1.46 per serving, whereas Swolverine's is closer to $2 per serving. So the price is right on these, probably because it's not from grass-fed cows, but the thing with grass-fed dairy is the health benefits of grass-fed dairy lie in the fat content, and whey isolate is practically fat-free. So health-wise, there's not a difference really between grass-fed and conventional whey. There's conventional whey, but it's got a lot going for it. It has a tiny bit more carbohydrates as well. It's 3 grams of carbs per 25 grams of protein, as opposed to the 2 grams of carbs 26 grams of protein on Swolverine. It's another reason why it's a tiny bit cheaper, but we're really just kind of splitting hairs here. This is still very high in protein per calorie, and it's a really, really good pick if you are on a budget. We also named Kaged whey protein isolate the best for athletes, partly because, athletes are often on a budget, but the main reason is that this one, unlike a lot of wheys on the market, has been tested and certified by Informed Sport. So that means it's been tested to make sure there's no banned substances in this. So if you're a competitive athlete, that's usually a priority that your supplements have a certification from a group like Informed Sport. So yeah, that's the best for athletes, and also, fortunately, the best on a budget as well. One more thing I forgot to say earlier, if you want to go through this information at your own pace, we have a written version of this article, so that's helpful for a lot of folks. If you just want to Google BarBend best whey isolate, that'll bring it right up, and you'll be able to read all this and see the pics and see the research we're citing as well. Next up, we're going to talk about the best whey isolate for weight loss. To be clear, again, weight loss is about calories, just like weight gain is, right? If you want to lose weight, you want to make sure that you're simply getting fewer calories, not too many fewer calories than you burn in a day over a longer period of time. That said, a supplement like this one we think is ideal for folks looking to lose weight. That is Onnit's grass-fed whey isolate. This is a really, really high quality supplement. What's really interesting here is it has a whole bunch of extra ingredients, right? Now, that does raise the price a little bit. As mentioned, that's the trade-off you make with these sorts of products. But a few things you should know about Onnit's whey isolate is it's just 110 calories per scoop for a nice solid 21.1 grams of protein. It's also all natural, there are no artificial flavors or sweeteners. And on top of that, this has a whole lot of digestive enzymes as well. And in addition to that, it has a little bit of probiotic bacteria too. The protein per calorie is still very high. You're also getting a range of digestive enzymes here. You're getting some probiotics from the lactobacillus family, and it's all natural. And all of these are reasons why we consider this to be a really, really solid pick for those who are looking to lose weight. Plus, it's the best tasting too. It doesn't have a whole range of flavors, which is like a little bit disappointing, but the flavors they do have are just absolutely delicious. The chocolate flavor as well is called Mexican chocolate, and it's just the best chocolate flavor. It's got like a little bit of cinnamon flavor in it, so it tastes a little bit more like a chocolate cookie. It's a bit hard to explain taste like this, but I can assure you that while the price is a little higher on it, the product is very high quality, it's very all natural, and the taste is second to none. Lastly, we want to talk about one of our favorite supplement brands, which is Transparent Labs. So Transparent Labs, they're known for being very transparent, right? They tell you all about their ingredients, how much of each ingredient they use, where they're from, why they use it with studies to back up all their claims. We're a really big fan of this brand, and we named it the best all-natural whey protein isolate because it's totally all natural. So no artificial flavors, no sweeteners, and they even produce like a certificates of verification on their site for people who are like very interested in this kind of stuff. So that is an important one. You even get the precise amount of grams of each ingredient, which you're not going to get in any other product here. Like when something says it has stevia and sodium chloride and flavoring, it's going to say it's 480 milligrams of natural flavoring. It's 165 milligrams of stevia. It's also very delicious. It's got 8 different flavors you can buy on their site. And we also think it's the best for recovery, partly because it's just really high in protein, right? This one has 28 grams of protein for 120 calories and 0 grams of fat. But on top of that, this has some extra sodium in it. With a nice 7% of the recommended daily intake, we thought this made it a nice addition to any athlete's recovery process. So we named this one the best all natural and the best for recovery in the whey isolate game. So that does it for our our list of the best whey isolates on the market. Just to wrap up, people often ask what are the benefits of taking whey isolate, right? I touched on this earlier, but just to wrap up this video, whey isolate relative to whey concentrate, it has more protein per calorie. It is generally lower, if not entirely free of lactose, lower, if not entirely free of fat, lower, if not entirely free of carbohydrates. So all this means you're generally getting more protein per gram and per calorie, which is important to a lot of folks, especially if you're trying to lose weight and you're in a really tightly controlled diet. In addition to that, whey is the most bioavailable protein on earth, which means that it absorbs the most effectively of any protein out there, better than meat, better than soy, better than just about anything. So that's a really cool touch as well. And generally, it's a good idea to have a higher protein diet, which whey isolate can help you to do, right? It is linked to better body composition, meaning that if you're consuming that much protein, you tend to have more muscle and less body fat. You also burn more calories digesting protein. It's very, very satiating, which means that it is better at curbing your appetite and you're less likely to overeat. All of these may sound a little bit aesthetic to you, but in addition to that, having a good ratio of body fat and muscle has a wide range of health benefits associated with it as well, including things like better bone density and better blood pressure as well. There's a ton of studies on this. I encourage you to check them out, but there's a lot of reasons to take whey isolate even if you're not a competitive athlete. So hopefully we've managed to convince you of that in today's video. Remember, if you want to learn more about this kind of stuff and have a look at some of the studies we've been talking about and make your own way through the research, just give us a Google. Just go to BarBend Best Whey Isolate and the article will come right up. So thanks for watching. Hope you learned something and we'll see you in the next video.